Hi, my name is Vanessa. I'm with our Revolution Western Maryland. We're conducting candidate interviews for the contested elections in Frederick County for County Council Districts 3, 4, and at large. And we're going to be posting these interviews on YouTube. Once we post them, you can watch, and then we'll take it to the members to a vote and see which candidate you would like to endorse for County Council. And the District 3 people running are Jasmine DeCola and MC Keegan Ayer. In District 4, we have Cavante Duckett, John Funderburg, Betty Law, and Nicholas Augustine. And for at-large, we have Renee Knapp and Brad Young. And please make sure to watch and vote for the person you would like to see as your representative in the County Council. Thank you. So this is for the County Council at large, Frederick County Council at large. And if you'd like to start with a little bit about yourself, kind of like your elevator pitch for your candidacy, if you'd like to do that first, you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, great. I was born in Frederick County, raised here. I raised 3 daughters here. I now have 4 grandchildren. I've been real active in the community through serving 15 years on the board of community college trustees and completing my 12th year on the Board of Education. I've been active with a lot of local charities. The biggest one most recently is I Believe in Me, which is a mentoring group for young at-risk kids. During the pandemic, we picked up the need for food insecurity and served over 100,000 people food over the course of that time frame. But what I'm really proud about is IJ and the impact that he's having on young people and trying to steer them in the right path. So that's definitely one of my passions. Education has always been one of my passions. I've been very blessed in Frederick County, and I've been able to give back by serving on various educational boards and making an impact on young people's lives. I also coached for many years. I coached softball, basketball, and soccer. And so I was real active with that, taught Sunday school with my children for over 10 years. Anything where working with children and trying to inspire young people to be better citizens is something that I'm very passionate about.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I'll start with the first question. What have you done professionally or as an individual that qualifies you for public office and might stamp you as a candidate whom our Revolution Western Maryland members would want to support?
So as I spoke about, I've been active in politics for 50 years. My father was first elected office when I was 4. And so I've been active in many political campaigns. And I was always brought up to give back to your community. I feel a great importance of giving back to Frederick. I've got a lot of experience in the educational background, as I said, serving 15 years on the community college board, my 12 years on FCPS board. I also served 7 years on the board of advisors for the universities at Shady Grove. I served 7 years on the state community college board of trustees, 7 years on the national community college board. I've been active in Parks and Rec in Frederick County. I've served on that committee for many years. And I know and love Frederick County. So my experience also is as a business owner. I've owned my own business in Frederick County for over 20 years. My wife's owned her own business for over 30 years in Frederick County. So again, I have that business owner experience, but I have just a real good knowledge and love for Frederick County. And I think my experiences and my background would be a benefit to Frederick County serving on the county council.
Great. Do you support debt-free post-secondary education like vocational schools, community college?
I do. And honestly, I also have been a teacher. I've taught at Mount St. Mary's for 19 years, and higher education is important to me. Education is the great equalizer in our society. I do have concerns of, even though I teach at higher education, I don't think we should push every student to go to college. So I would expand that to say whether it be a workforce training, whether they wanted to be an HVAC technician, whatever. My daughter's a nurse. So I think it would be, I would certainly support, and I know my dad's put forth a bill in Maryland to make community college free, which is the first 2 years, and where many people can get a job skill that they can go to work or they can continue to finish their 4-year degree. So I certainly am a huge advocate of making sure everybody has access to that. From the standpoint that they don't now, I've worked tirelessly to grow the foundations, both our community foundation and the FCC Foundation, to provide scholarships for those that can't afford to go to college. And I certainly think that's important. So yes, I am a supporter of trying to get everybody access to either higher education or to a vocational school where they can get an employable skill that will let them earn a good living.
Thank you. So the next question is, women are still underrepresented in circles of authority, including elected office, and still earn less than men. What would you do to advance equality for women here in Maryland and in Frederick County?
So I'm very proud to say that in my board service, I've had the opportunity of hiring 6 educational professionals, including 2 college presidents, 2 superintendents, and a state and national community college board leader. And those 6 choices, 4 of them were women. The first was a hire of Dr. Pat Stanley 25 years ago as the second community college president to be a female in the state of Maryland. Our most recent hires, Dr. Cheryl Dyson as the newest superintendent of Frederick County, who's female and African-American. She's the first African-American superintendent in the history of Frederick County Public Schools. So having 3 daughters, I've always been a promoter of women being successful. My wife, as I said, owns her own business. My mother, I'm very proud of, was an elementary school principal when that wasn't quite common for women in that field. It's now very common. So yes, I'm a huge supporter and proponent of trying to help women get into positions and break those glass ceilings where they can. And so I've again done that through demonstration, the people that I've hired over the years and my opportunities to do that into leadership.
Great. So the next question is related to a pledge that was started for our local group in Howard County.
Mm-hmm.
They did a pledge for candidates that they wouldn't take real estate money, and development and the growing pains associated with that is a huge issue in the county right now. So the question related to that is, would you make a pledge to run without or limit real estate industry money in your campaign?
Right, and I've not taken that pledge, and I'm very proud that so far I've had over 150 different donors, and some of those are folks that are involved in real estate. As I said, I've grown up in Frederick County, and I'm friends with people in all circles. All real estate developers and builders are not bad. Again, it's the government's position to be able to sanction how much building is allowed. So from that standpoint, the builders are building what they're being allowed to do. And so we have a lot of good local builders that have been supportive in our community. And so a lot of those are friends. So I've not taken that pledge, but I certainly understand the growth pains in Frederick County, and that will be a priority of mine, to make sure that we have adequate infrastructure, from schools to roads to public safety to parks to open space to all those things will be important. And I think the relationship that I have with many of these folks that are involved in real estate will allow us to find common grounds that benefit everybody in Frederick County.
Thank you. So the county council put together a climate change emergency mobilization working group last year, and they put out a final report. And this recommended a long-term strategy for development in the county. Would you be able to give an example of how you would implement one of the recommendations in the plan, be it legislation or policy?
So I looked through the plan. I can say on the Board of Education, one of the things that we have done is started and purchased our first electric buses. Obviously, as a big school system, we have hundreds and hundreds of buses that are running on diesel fuel every day. And so we're working towards test piloting some of the buses. Frankly, some of the problems that we've had are the distances that the buses can go in Frederick County, being large geographically. You know, we're going to start with it, and that technology is getting better. So we hope to have those first buses on the road for this fall and be able to see how they work and expand those. I know the county also has used electric buses, and so that is one thing that I think I would like to see over time, is that the entire fleet at FCPS, when it's feasible, be able to run the routes, would be converted to electric buses. One other thing that we've done in FCPS that goes to the climate and pollution is working with a local group to curb the amount of trash that we're putting into our dumpsters. Our students are learning to separate things that are recyclable, but also our food waste. Much food gets put into the dumpster, and so if we can take that back out and put it in places where it can decompose properly and not put as much of it in the landfill, that's beneficial. At one high school, they reduced the number of bags of trash that they were putting in the dumpster by 80% just by separating the food waste.
Yeah.
And
That's
that
good.
also cuts down on the transportation of the garbage trucks that have to pick it up and the cost. It's beneficial for everybody. So looking for common sense ways that we can do things like that that benefit our community.
Yeah. Key City Compost is the big composter around
Yeah,
here. I use them. They would probably love to get that food waste from the schools.
Yeah, and like I say, we've got it in quite a number of schools. And what's real, I was at a school the other day and watching some of the young first graders and second graders understanding that that's important, that we just don't throw everything into the trash can. So again, it becomes a generational of building the importance of doing that and the expectation that we do that. So those are things that I certainly want to see us continue to expand.
Great. Is there one policy initiative you support that you would like to point to as evidence that your priorities align with our revolution, Western Maryland?
Well, I wouldn't say a specific point. What I would say is I certainly know that our environment is extremely important. One of the biggest draws that we have in Frederick County is our beautiful landscape that's around us. I certainly support putting more ground into ag preservation and not overbuilding our county. Smart growth is important, that we need to make sure that we're building in places where we have infrastructure, not just sticking big houses everywhere throughout the county. So planning to make sure that growth is done smartly and that we can support that growth as it comes to us. We're struggling with that now in my position on the school board. We were the only county or only school system that grew in students last year. And that's because of the influx of folks that are moving here because of the beautiful area that we have and the quality of life that we have in Frederick County. And we want to make sure and preserve that. Now, as I said, I grew up here. I'm actually fifth generation Frederick County. And it's changed a lot in my lifetime, but a lot for the good. We have a lot of new diversity. We have a lot of new cultural opportunities that weren't there when I was young. But we also have a lot more traffic now, and those issues are things that people don't like. And we have, unfortunately, overcrowded classrooms where the school capacity is not kept up with that. And so as a counselor, I certainly would support funding all that was necessary to make sure that we could keep up with that growth, but also continue to give our students a great education. Education will always be my number one priority, but certainly quality of life and the environment are just as important behind that.
Could you give a final summation of why our Revolution Western Maryland members should support you?
Well, I think that I would wrap it up by saying I love Frederick County. I really do. I'm doing this not for any other reason than I feel an obligation to give back to our county. And so public service is something that I was taught as I was growing up. My mom was a principal. My dad was in elected office still, as he's retiring this year. So it's something that I was always brought up to do, and I certainly live it. I think the skills that I have as a business owner, the experience that I have through my educational service, my experience that I have in my business of being a financial planner and understanding budgets and the implication, working with our elders in Frederick County is something also that's been important to me. I've over the last 2 years, every month I deliver groceries to a shut-in couple in Emmitsburg through SOAR, which is a great nonprofit supporting seniors that need assistance in our county. So affordable housing, things that benefit seniors are also going to be important to me. So again, I think I have a good, well-rounded understanding of our county, of the needs that are there. And I have a ability of working together with people. I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm certainly not going to never reach across the aisle to try and work with my Republican friends that get elected to make sure that we're doing what's best for our county. And that's how I always will operate, is from my heart, in doing the things that I think will be beneficial for Frederick County residents.
Great, thank you. And
You're
I'm just curious, do you have any other like forums coming up?
There's one scheduled next Thursday.
Next Thursday?
And I think I can't remember if that one's in person or Zoom. I can never get my schedule beyond a day out. I've got so many. I've been to 6 things today. I'm getting ready to run to a celebration of our first year teachers down at Oakdale High School. And I don't have a primary, so I know they're trying to focus right now on the ones that do have a primary to give them the attention. So I would suspect that there would be more things probably in the fall than there are now, because of the fact that we don't have a contested primary.
Okay. And I just wanted to say thank you for doing this. I know you're very busy, and we just wanted to give our members a chance to kind of get to know you a little bit, and and the other people running in the county council. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
You're quite welcome. Did you get through to Renee?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I haven't gotten through to a lot of people, so.
Okay. Yeah, Renee's the other Democrat that's running at large. And then, like I say, I think there's only 2 districts. We have 5 districts, and I think only 2 of them have a contested primary, which is MC Keegan Air and Jasmine Cologne. And then in the other district with John Funderburk and Cavante and Betty Law, and there's a 4th person in that race. So
yeah, we've interviewed Cavante and Betty, and Nicholas Augustine is the 4th.
Nicholas Augustine, that's the 4th one. Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't know him. I think he's a police officer, isn't he? I don't know him. I
don't know him either.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get people in districts 3, 4, and at large just to do these interviews. So we did Cavante, Betty, and you. So everybody's busy. I get it. So I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to us and the members, to hear from you guys. So we appreciate it.
Happy to do it.
Awesome. Well, enjoy your party tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.